everybody, and welcome. My name is Dr. Heather Carton. I am coming to you live from my kitchen. If you are brand new to Ask Dr. Heather, this is a Facebook group or blog where you simply ask your questions about current health items or maybe how you can improve your health. I will help give you some information and some action steps so you can achieve the healthy journey that you want or the healthy lifestyle that you want. So I've gotten a lot of questions about allergies. It is allergy season here in the Midwest. Sorry, I'm trying to help the sun here a little bit, but I had 4 or 5 people consistently throughout the last week said, hey, what do we do about allergies? What's a natural approach to allergies? Because we know there's a whole line of unnatural stuff that we can take in the store, but I'm going to just talk about 2, well, probably 3 things tonight. So number 1, if your nose is draining, your throat is draining, your eyes are watering, it's because your body's trying to get stuff out. So if you take something that is like an antihistamine that dries everything up, what happens, it actually leads to infections inside our sinuses. So if you're a person who's clearing their throat all the time, you have a runny, drippy nose right now because if there's something in the air, know that you want to rinse those out. Things with like salt water rinses, saline rinses, even using sorry, I was going to say some essential oils like eucalyptus you can use to help things drain. You definitely don't want to dry them up. You want them to drain out and get out. So, and there are some natural things you can take like stinging nettles that are natural herbs that you can use to help dry things up rather than using something over the counter. But you also want to stop what's causing that. So number 1, if you're a person who's dripping, make sure that you want to keep all those nasal cavities clean, which means use some type of saline rinse. Make sure you're getting your toothbrush cleaned at least twice a week. You can either boil it, get a new one, put it in the dishwasher, make sure you're getting that clean. Make sure that you're changing your pillowcase because your eyes get all goobery and nose during the middle of the night and during the day. So sheets and pillowcase for sure, make sure those are getting changed. Not a super fan of handkerchief just because you're blowing in the same thing all the time. So you want to keep the area clean. So that's using the saline, drinking lots of water to help wash it out. You can even use a humidifier in your room. Just make your humidifier filter is clean and new. I know we pulled ours out from last year and it was moldy, so time to get that out and buy a new clean humidifier. Every time you add water, make sure it's clean. If you're using essential oils in your room or your house, those pots can also get some mold or water buildup. Make sure you clean those out as well. And then you want to stop feeding your body things that create mucus. So what are things that create mucus? Well, number 1, any dairy product is really just mucus, whether it's sour cream or ice cream or heavy whipping cream. Any type of dairy is just mucus. So you don't want to feed your body mucousy things. We know sugar also feeds inflammation. So if your nasal cavities and throat or eyes are getting swollen, you want to stop taking and eating things that are sugary that actually help increase inflammation. So the apple juice thing needs to go out the door. Again, all the dairy. And then vinegar products. Vinegars are very moldy and yeasty. So I know we've heard apple cider vinegar is great for your stomach. So if you're doing a tablespoon of that a day is pretty good, but I wouldn't do cups of kimchi or kombucha or a lot of fermented things, lots of salad dressing, lots of ketchup, things with lots of vinegar in them, or pickled things because they often have a lot of sugar in them as well. And oftentimes what the allergy is right now is to mold. So you want to stop putting moldy things in your food. Cheese is not only just mucousy, it's also moldy, so are mushrooms and so are vinegar. So those are things that you can take out. There's lots of natural things you can do. An infrared sauna will also help kill out bacteria. You can use monolaurin to help use as an antibacterial, antiviral, antiparasitic. So there's just some simple steps you can take. But what should you be eating? So I got a whole bunch of different bone broths out. So that was just a quick 101 on allergies. Listen to your body. If it's dripping, it's saying I need to get it out. But if it's super dry in there and it feels dry, then that's when you want to wash things out. Make sure you irrigate it pretty well 1 or 2 times a day with a good saline rinse. If you're using the nasal or neti pot, make sure you get a new one every month. Don't use the same one from last season. It can build up with junk as well. And then let's talk about bone broth. I just pulled a whole bunch of stuff that I could find. I've tried to cover up the labels. So the reason that we do bone broth is bone broth has been around, for centuries, or we can even talk about grandmas telling us to eat bone broth because bone broth is really great for healing our immune system. It has trace macronutrients in it. And we talk about bone broth. It is not all the meat and all the protein. It's actually boiling the cartilage, the marrow out of the bone, the cartilage out of the area, because what that creates is a big gelatin. So if you're getting a broth that's just clear and liquid, there's no collagen in there. That's just clear like water. And we're definitely not talking, and covered up the lid, we're definitely not talking about something like this when we're talking about broth. I did cover up the label. This is a no-go. That's not what we're talking about. And oftentimes when you go buy different types of broth, this even says organic broth. Again, I covered up the name. It has some protein in it. It also says low in sodium. So we talk about mucus. If I'm a farm girl from Kansas, Mike, you might know this too. We used to put salt on slugs to help thin it out, or if you've been in an icy area, we put ice down to help actually get rid of the ice and to break things up. The same thing's true for your sinuses. That's why you want to use a good saline rinse. You want to have a little salt water. You want to gargle with salt water. You also want your bone broth to have nice sodium in there. Pink Himalayan sea salt you can add in there. So if you buy a low sodium one, make sure you put that in there. Also eating hotter or spicier things. So putting in a jalapeno, a red pepper salts, that will also get stuff draining because you want to get those out. We get sinus infections when the stuff doesn't drain. It sits right here in our frontal cavities right here and right here over maxillary cavities. You don't want the mucus settling here because that's where all the pressure and the pain comes from, and that actually can lead to very severe things like dental or dental infections, ear infections, things like that. You want to get the stuff out. So I made bone broth last weekend. It's not the best, I'm going to be honest. So when you make homemade bone broth, you want to have nice fat and you want to have it like jello-like consistency. You don't want to have it water-like consistently, like this is watery consistency. You want to have it gelatin consistency if you want to have all the benefits of the gelatin. Again, you can use a clear broth because it still will have the macronutrients in it, the selenium, the trace minerals, the molybdenum, the zinc, magnesium, all those amazing things, selenium that you need. The collagen is for a couple other reasons. So the collagen is the thicker stuff that comes in. It's not the white stuff. This is just fat that you see, but what makes it jiggly like gelatin is what you want. That actually helps with our joints. So when you think of like your TMJ as a joint, when you're talking about infections or allergies, talking about all of the orbits around your eye, your nose, and also the mucous membrane, we also want to make that super healthy and strong. So collagen helps the elasticity. So as you know, we get older, or if say you've had a shirt that's getting all wrinkled out, kind of worn out, doesn't get its shape back like it used to, like a sweater or a shirt. Still trying to avoid the sunlight here, guys. We want to do the same thing inside our body, inside our mucous membrane. So collagen will help do that, not just make our skin nice and tight. It also helps our joints like our TMJ, also helps all the vascular system throughout our neck because we want to have it nice and strong as the body starts to drain. We also know that bone broth has been used for years for proper digestion. So oftentimes infections or sinus allergies will actually onset because we've had like a big sugar fest, because the whole gut GI actually got out of balance. So to get it back on balance, amazing things like bone broth and water can help really bring things around and strengthen the immune system. We also know it helps fight viruses and bacteria. You guys can find these articles. You can Google bone broth and viruses or bone broth and immune system. There's been stuff published again for decades and decades. I went to print it off and there was 122 pages of information, so I thought I'm going to make this super simple as usual. So again, when you think about collagen, yes, it's great on a daily basis when you're not sick because it does make your skin glow. I know my skin's glowing right now because of the way the sun's coming in, but it also really helps our mucous membrane and also helps the bones and jaw joints as we're having allergy infections. It's also a very important detoxifier. So if we talk about kicking it up a little bit, putting a little bit of ginger in there, a little bit of hot pepper, that'll get things draining as well. But as we can start to help eliminate and expel those things out of our mucous membrane, out of our body, even into the toilet as well, we want to get all that stuff out. Bone broth can absolutely do that. It can give our body the stuff it needs for immune system so that we can increase our immune system. It also helps boost our brain. So not just about allergies, because if you've had an allergy, it's a histamine reaction. You're super sleepy. Your body's trying to rest and repair. That's why it's telling you it's sleepy. We know that you're going to get amazing, amazing results from having just natural bone broth because, again, those trace minerals that come from the bone and the bone marrow and the cartilage and also the skin is what you want to put back into your body to replace that's just normally lost on our day-to-day usage. So you're going to see a huge improvement with sleep. There's something called glycine that's associated with relaxation. So when you're talking about letting your sinuses relax, your eyes, your digestive tract, your immune system, there's glycine that actually comes when you're making homemade bone broth. So that's kind of my little tip 101 on fighting allergy season right now. So I'll recap those if you jumped on late. Please feel free to share this with friends later. There's a lot of people out there suffering, walking around with Kleenex. I know I was at church this weekend. Some people were just saying, peace be with you. No one was handshaking because they had Kleenexes out. And know that there's some things you can do to help it. Not 100% get it to go away, but there's things you can help it. So if you know that you live in a allergy, I've got a bunch of walnut trees I'm looking at, and you know have a peanut allergy or a nut allergy, also know that that could be coming from the outside. So just make sure that you're watching also those environmental allergies. I know it's getting moldy right now because it's been raining in Kansas. The leaves are falling on top. So as mold increases, you want to decrease the moldy foods we talked about, like fermented foods, I forgot to mention alcohol. It's also fermented. Beer especially, and wine is very, very fermented. Another thing you can do though is actually keep your house open. When you can get the stagnant air floating through the room, it'll actually help refreshen that air in your bedroom and your kitchen. So when we're talking about bone broth, you want to identify why you're having it and know that not all are created equal. So if you want just macronutrients, it's okay to have a very clear broth. I actually love this broth. I didn't cover it up. I love it because they have the amazing broth here. It's by Prove It. And I can share with you how to get that. But it not only has the collagen in there, which when you get a really watery bone broth like this and like this one in the box, you're not really getting collagen. You're getting the macronutrients, but you're not getting fat and you're not getting the collagen. And then this powdered one that I've used before, it's about 16 grams of protein. And the fat is only 1.5, so you're really not getting a true bone broth with the fat in there. And the collagen content's a little bit low, but the protein's super high. But it does have amazing, great ingredients. It's all non-GMO, so there's some great things about it. But you just want to read it. Are you using it for a protein supplement? Because this could almost be a meal replacement because it has so much protein in it. Are you doing it because you want all the extra support for your immune system? This also has some extra ingredients here like B vitamins. It has hyaluronic acid, which is great for the integrity of the underneath of your skin. So, you know, as our skin can stay tight, our sinuses will also stay nice and tight and drain properly. It also has some beta hydroxybutyrate, which is a ketone body, which gives your body nice energy. It also has some collagen peptides in there. You know, again, we can always make homemade, but not everybody wants to boil chicken feet and chicken livers. If you do want to make your own bone broth, I have several videos on YouTube where I use oxtail bones or chicken feet or just leftover chicken bones from our family, fish bones as well. Recipes there, recipes on my blog, which is Ask Dr. Heather. I put it right up above. I also have a link up above. If you want to stay tuned for more information, I am going to do, I know I said this 2 weeks ago, guys, but I have low carb keto KC coming up. So if you're in the Kansas City area, please come. It is October 19th and 20th. Amazing speakers, amazing vendors. But we will do a deeper dive into allergies because it does affect millions of people every year. And allergy, it's not only just a nuisance of a runny nose, it can lead to lots of headaches, it can lead to missed days of work, missed days of school, it can lead to cloudy mind, not thinking well. And often what happens is when we're sick and not feeling well, we actually go for things like garbage or juice because that's what we were told to have, some type of apple juice or orange juice because of the vitamin C. There's actually more vitamin C in a red bell pepper. There's more nutrients in a bone broth that you can get than drinking something just from a juice from a fruit, which we know there's no essential carbohydrates. Yes, Tracy, we'll have an event sometime when you come to, when you're in the United States, we will try to plan something for our Australian friends that join us. So Tracy, thanks for always joining us. So I hope I shared a few tips here today, besides the sun, that will help you kind of master your allergies. And I know over in Australia, because I have friends over there, you guys are in the opposite season, but I do want to just give you some tips here to help your body start healing really at that cellular level, eliminating environmental things that are super obvious, and then doing some natural tips every single day. And best practices for someone that does have allergies is doing saline rinsing. Make sure your toothbrush is clean. Make sure that your pillow cover, all that stuff is clean as well. When you're washing your face and you're washing your sinuses, you're doing that with just water and just sea salt, doing things as naturally as possible. If you do find yourself needing more help, like you need supplements, there's definitely a line of all natural products that still allow your mucous membrane to heal and to drain at the same time. So let me know if you have questions, drop them down below. If you want to know how to make your own bone broth, because I'm going to have some broth right now, again, just jump over to my YouTube channel, which is Ask Dr. Heather. You can also scroll through my blog, which is up above askdrheather.net, and you can see some bone broth recipes there. You can't go wrong. The only thing people do wrong making homemade bone broth is they put way too much protein in there. You really just want the bones and you want the skin and a little bit of fat and cartilage on there. You don't want to do the whole chicken. That's why chicken feet has very little protein on it. A liver is great because you get all the B vitamins. If you don't mind throwing a chicken liver in there or a beef liver in there with your bones, it's an amazing cocktail for your body. Amazing, something you could just drink every day. Somebody said, how often can you drink it? You can have bone broth every day. Have a cup in the morning. It's getting chillier here in Kansas. Have a cup at night. If you're sick, then have 3 or 4 cups throughout the day. Know that your body needs those macronutrients. You'll find yourself just craving that because your body's intuitively telling you, I need those trace minerals. I need those nutrients. It's very hard to get them on the standard global diet. That's what I call it right now, the standard global diet. And know that you're not going to find it in your grocery store, things like this, but there are different options out there. This is a local chef I buy some from, and so you can look at your local chefs that buy local produce. That's the best that you can actually get when you're buying local beef. but know that there's also other options. Just make sure it's organic when you buy it and it is non-GMO, and read the ingredients that it has celery and parsley and cayenne pepper. It doesn't have things that you don't know that are multiple ingredients. So I want to thank you guys again for joining me. Best of luck this allergy season. Fill up the Google Doc above, because we will be doing about a 40-minute private Zoom helping you answer all your questions about sinuses and allergies, whether it's nasal or gut or ears or feet. We're going to help you identify the sources of those allergies and share and help you how to get to the bottom of that allergy and help your body be the healthiest it can be. So Dr. Heather is saying have an amazing day, and you'll be hearing from me soon.